Good morning, everyone. On behalf of Governor Cuomo and all of us at the New York State Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance, I welcome you this morning and thank you very much for joining us. I'm very pleased this morning to be joined by the New York State Department of Taxation and Finance Commissioner Thomas Mattox, Albany County Executive Daniel McCoy, Joanne Pisano, who is a wonderful partner and senior tax consultant with the Internal Revenue Service. And we're also joined this morning by Richard Zazycki, who is from the Cash Coalition. Richard is the co-chair of the Cash Coalition of the Greater Capital Region. As you are all likely aware, tax filing season ends in only 3 short weeks. We're here this morning to remind eligible New Yorkers throughout the state that they need to file their income tax returns in order to qualify for potentially thousands of dollars in tax credits, and that free tax preparation assistance is available throughout the state to help them do so at Volunteer Income Tax Assistance or VITA sites and at AARP tax aid sites as well. There are over 700 of these sites across the state at which eligible low-income workers may get their federal and state personal income tax returns prepared and filed electronically at no cost. A core part of the mission of our agency at the Office of Temporary and Disability Assistance is to enhance the economic security of low-income working families. Providing assistance and access to free tax preparation is an important tool that will help ensure that these individuals and families are served and will become aware and file for all of the various tax credits that are available in New York State. Most notably, the refundable earned income tax credits at the federal and state level. The IRS estimates that as many as 1 in 5 eligible workers overlook the EITC when they file their income taxes every year. At OTDA, we are working hard to ensure that low-income families have the tools they need to enhance their economic security, and that's why we feel it's so important to host our very own VITA site, which is right across the hall from this room. It's where OTDA employees, assisted by students from the University at Albany and the College of St. Rose, have been working to help people prepare their tax returns and make sure that they are claiming all of the tax credits for which they are eligible. I'm very pleased to say that this is the 11th consecutive year that we have hosted a VITA site in our OTDA office building. Workers who qualify for the federal and state EITCs and file federal and state tax returns can get back some and potentially all of the income tax that was withheld from their paychecks during the course of the year. They may also get cash back if the value of these tax credits is greater than the taxes that they owe. Additionally, there are other tax credits that low-income families may qualify for, including the federal and state child tax credits and child and dependent care tax credits. In New York State, we also have a non-custodial parent EITC, and we were the first state to enact this tax credit, which provides a refundable tax credit to non-custodial parents who are current in their child support payments. This credit encourages low-income non-custodial parents to work and to stay up to date on their child support obligations for the betterment of their children. VITA site tax preparation services, as I said earlier, are available at no cost to anyone with an income below $52,000 a year. Taxpayers who use a VITA site for their tax preparation services may receive their tax funds as quickly as using a paid tax preparer, and they may also have their benefits filed electronically, which means that they are likely to get their refunds even faster. Through mid-March of this year, nearly 115,000 tax returns were filed in the various VITA sites across New York State, according to the IRS. Those returns have already generated over $176 million in federal tax refunds, $65 million of that from the federal EITC alone. So as you can see, the value of these tax credits to taxpayers, their families, and their communities is very significant. It's important that we remind New Yorkers that there's still time, although the clock is ticking rapidly, to file their taxes. I would encourage anyone who has not already done so to take advantage of a VITA site or one of the AARP tax aid preparation sites. Individuals in the Albany area may call 486-9504 to schedule an appointment at our office's VITA site. And for households in any part of the state, they may call 1-800-906-9887 to find the VITA site closest to them. So I thank you all for coming again, and at this point it's my pleasure to turn the program over to New York State Department of Taxation and Finance Commissioner Thomas Mattox.
Well, good morning. Thank you, Commissioner. I'd like to add a few details to the Commissioner's comments. One, nearly 70% of New Yorkers who file a personal income tax return each year do so with the assistance of a preparer, either paid or voluntary. So there's no question that the functions and the benefits that we're talking about today with respect to the important role that volunteers play in supporting taxpayers is critical. And I'd like to spend a minute talking about the quality of work that they do. Because I'm not sure folks are aware or appreciate the extent to which, whether it's our partner, the IRS, the Cash Coalition here locally, the AARP, and others, who are very actively involved in ensuring that the volunteers are appropriately trained. They go through training programs supported by the department each year to ensure that they're up to date in terms of changes to the tax code. Those volunteers are spending hours preparing for an examination that they take to ensure that their competency meets a minimal level in terms of providing support to New Yorkers through the VITA and AARP sites. And then finally, at the back end, when we review the quality of work that preparers submit as represented by the returns, the volunteers that are represented by the organizations that are here today and the AARP are among the most accurate of those who submit returns. So I would really encourage all New Yorkers who qualify by virtue of the income thresholds to seek out one of the VITA sites or an AARP site to get support with their taxes if they choose to get assistance. They can also take advantage of our website. The department's website now offers the ability to electronically file a return for free for 85% of New Yorkers who file an income tax return. So I think one of the points that I would like to emphasize this morning, and I applaud the Commissioner for the work that her department is doing, is to highlight the fact that resources are available. There's certainly a lot of myth around tax season. It's not the most popular thing that people do as spring approaches. And there's no question that it is complex, but there are resources that are available. And there's no question that the quality of those resources has been confirmed by our own work. But also one of the things that I'd add is that New Yorkers can spend anywhere from $200 to $600 to get a return done that could have been completed for free, either through one of the volunteer sites or by taking advantage of the free filing options on our website. So we really do want to emphasize awareness, make sure that folks know that those resources are out there. And as we approach the end of the filing season, my final comment would be for folks who are at all concerned about whether they can or should file, you should absolutely file the return. Even if there are issues associated with the ability to make a payment if one is due, the folks should contact the department. We will work with you and make sure that we can get you in compliance. But the absolute worst thing that folks could do is not file a return if they're obligated to do so. So we would hope that folks would take advantage, and if there are any follow-up questions, that they would call the department or reach out to us through our online services. So with that, I'll turn it over to the county executive.
Thank you. You know, I just want to say a few things to the Commissioner and to OTDA. Thank you for what you do day in, day out, because it is a benefit to the residents of Albany County. And I look back in 2012, we had over 3,400 people use this program. Think about it, over 3,400 with a return of $5.7 million that they might not have gotten. You know, that's the difference of putting food on the table, paying the rent, getting some clothes for their children, or, you know, paying their health care or for their car insurance. it makes a difference in people's lives. And the fact that they can come here and get this done free from the Cash Coalition and with a partnership with St. Rose and everyone else involved behind me is phenomenal, because they don't have to pay for it. They don't have to pay for the filing, and they don't have to take a loan against if they wanted their payment up front, which is a win-win situation. We went up 6% from 2011 to 2012 with people filing, and the commissioner said it correctly. I mean, $52,000 seems like a lot of money, but if you're married or you have a few children, it's not as much as you think it goes. It doesn't go that far. So this program here will help people get a return that they're entitled to. And that's what it's all about. And I applaud the governor for his partnerships and the leadership in New York State to sit there and to make these programs work and to give people back what they're entitled to. Because too often, and that date's coming up, April 15th, less than 20 days, it's around the corner that people aren't going to file because they're going to think, A, I'm not getting a return, or B, I got to make a penalty. Well, you don't know until you do your paperwork. Come to this program, have them go through your stuff, and you may be surprised at the end of the day, you have a return coming, which will help you and your family. So I applaud everyone behind me and Commissioner for your leadership here in the Capital Region in making this happen. So thank you.
Thank you very much. At this point, I'd like to introduce our colleague and partner from the IRS, Joanne Pisano, who's a senior tax consultant in our Albany office.
Thank you, Commissioner, and good morning, everyone. Excuse me. I think there's only 22 days left, including today, to file those tax returns. So, yeah, I got it. Not the hours or the minutes, okay. But April 15th is surely approaching us quickly. I just want to say, if it wasn't for the Commissioner of Tax and Finance and everyone else here, our VITA program, our AARP program, and our volunteers wouldn't be as strong as they are today. I really appreciate that, and I know the Internal Revenue Service appreciate that. Throughout the state, we have between 3,000 to 5,000 volunteers that do the VITA and TCE and AARP program. So it's amazing the number of volunteers we have and what they do. If it wasn't for them, our taxpayers wouldn't file and lose all that earned income tax credit, the child tax credit, and whatever we have for them. So I really, and on behalf of the IRS, I thank everyone out here that has come today. As we said, April 15th is right around the corner, so get those taxes in, get filed. If you owe any money, like the Commissioner says, there's payment plans, we'll work it out and get it in. And you can file today and not pay until April 15th. So there's no problem for not filing. Also, I just want to remind everyone that also, if you haven't filed your 2010 return, you got to get it in by April 15th, the statute goes. So that's another reason. Make sure you get in, see our sites. They will do 2010 as well as 2013, excuse me, so that everybody can get their refunds and their income credits and stuff that they deserve. Another thing is, if you can't file, there's the extension, an automatic extension. It's really for 2 months. You fill a form out, 4868, which is an extension form, and it goes for up to 6 months. Remember, the extension is to file, not to pay. Everybody has to have 90% of their taxes in by April 15th. But, I could go on about penalties and failure to file and failure to pay and interest that we charge, but the big thing here is get out to our VITA sites. They are IRS certified volunteers. They are wonderful. AARP will do anybody from low income to higher income. They don't have a income level. It's the difficulty of the returns. They will only do certain returns. And our VITA sites also, a lot of our partners like United Way and Circles of Mercy and Catholic Charities and OTDA and even the New York State Tax and Finance, you can do your taxes from home, free. Sit in your home, do them through My Free Taxes or one of the free file sites out there. So please, there's no excuse. April 15th is 22 days away, and please get out there and file. Thank you, and thank all my partners for doing this, and the IRS really appreciates it. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Richard Zazycki. Richard is co-chair of the Cash Coalition of the Greater Capital Region, which is a coalition of community, social, faith-based, educational, business, financial, and government organizations that are dedicated collectively to promoting financial stability and asset building for individuals and families throughout the capital region. And this organization has been a wonderful partner in providing VITA services as well. Richard?
Thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a pleasure to be here. As the Commissioner mentioned, the Cash Coalition, it's an acronym for Creating Assets, Savings, and Hope. Has a 10-year history of being dedicated to the mission of assisting individuals and families to increase their financial self-reliance. Cash partners and stakeholders, as the Commissioner stated, represent the federal government, state, local governments, many nonprofits, financial institutions, and the United Way, provide support and access to community resources, promote the free tax preparation, and also provide financial education and asset building activities and strategies. Here regionally, there are over 50 VITA and AARP tax assistance sites throughout the capital region. They're located in every county: Albany, Columbia, Greene, Rensselaer, Saratoga, Schenectady, Schoharie, and Hamilton counties, where over 230 VITA and AARP volunteers are donating over 8,000 hours to provide free tax preparation services to clients so that clients can access their federal and state refunds along with various tax credits. I'm just going to briefly speak with regards to the Earned Income Tax Credit. More than 10 years ago, concerted efforts across the United States have increased the knowledge and awareness of the Earned Income Tax Credit and connected households to the EITC and similar tax credits and other financial supports via VITA sites. The Earned Income Tax Credit is an earning supplement available through the income tax system that offsets payroll taxes and supports low and moderate income families, workers raising children. It was first made available in 1975 and offered up to $400 at that time to low-income workers with children. That credit was made permanent in 1978 during the Tax Reform Act of 1986. The first series of